You Hello, everyone. Thank you once again for joining the Fantastic Duo. I'm Jennifer Callender, based here in Atlanta, Georgia, and my dynamic duo.
Tony Harris Taylor in Houston, Texas.
So, we have come to you once again. We're going to bring you a lively, energetic topic around franchising, but we're going to look specifically at the number of peoples that are retiring from corporate or exiting corporate for various reasons. So we wanted to tap into that a little bit. So we want to find out, you know, do you have a plan for exiting corporate? What's your next step? What are your thoughts around taking that journey? We have an awesome, awesome guest here to join us, Mr. Daryl Bennett. I came across Daryl because we've done a engaging event, if you will, for the International Career and Business Alliance. He is a very motivational speaker. He is a dynamic person in his own right. You will come to know that really quickly. He is a all things franchising and wanting to build wealth within the Black community. So I wanted to bring him forward so you can specifically hear some of the things he has to share. So let us bring Mr. Daryl Bennett to the stage. Hi, Daryl.
Hey, how's everybody? Thanks, Jennifer and Tony. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for
No,
being here. Now, where
thanks
do
for
you live,
being here.
Daryl?
Great.
Yes,
You can hear me clearly, right?
Yes.
yes, we can hear you.
So it's great to talk to everyone. My name is Daryl Bennett. I'll be really quick just to say a little bit about myself. Originally, I'm from Baltimore, Maryland. Quick nugget, one of the first books I ever read was Why Should White Guys Have All the Fun by Reginald Lewis. That is a theme that is played throughout my life. Graduated from Morehouse College in 2007, and then right afterwards, I graduated from Harvard Law School. Now, when I was at Harvard, was when life brought me full circle, and I saw Reginald Lewis's picture, and I was reminded of that book, which was to me a mantra, and that's really why I'm here. I started a company called BSG Global a few years ago, and we're focused on mentorship and leadership development because we believe that wealth doesn't have to be assigned in one or isolated communities. We believe that it's for us, it's meant for us, and there are ways that we walk people along personal paths in order to build generational wealth. So franchising is one of many ways that we'd love to interface with people on with that.
Oh,
So that's very exciting. So thank you for that. And you're hitting the ball rolling here with that awesome introduction. So Daryl, what are your thoughts around franchising and this whole world of franchising and what it could offer the specifically the Black community as far as getting them into business ownership?
That's a great question, Jennifer. So the first thing that I think it gives is a blueprint. I think many times in our communities, we have a saying called, I like to pull myself up by my own bootstraps.
Yeah.
Look. For some of us, we don't have bootstraps, but for others who had the bootstraps, you still have to stand on a foundation. And I'll give you another quote, which I think is more powerful. It's Dr. King. If I've seen further than others, it's because I stand on the shoulders of giants. And so one of the things that we like about franchising is it allows the opportunity for people to have an idea and have a ready-made foundation that they can walk into. If you have an idea, but you need a blueprint, franchising is a phenomenal way to begin to build generational wealth. The second thing is it's a ready-made community that it kind of brings you in. Anybody that's an entrepreneur, and I see you shaking your head, Tony, anybody that's ever been in the entrepreneur journey, it's lonely, it's stressful, it's frustrating, you get depressed, you don't know what's going on. At times you wonder, am I doing the right thing? Did I wake up and bump my head? Did I miss my phone? And so having that support, that ingrained support, community of people, I had a mentor that said, go pick somebody going where you're going and you'll get there twice as fast.
Yeah.
So part of what the franchising community does is it helps people. So let me make this specific for someone. Someone's listening and you might say, I have a skill. I don't know what franchising means for me. Maybe that skill is plumbing, right? Because one of the things that I think people that are listening to this should understand, franchising is much larger than the traditional storefronts that we tend to think of, the restaurant storefronts. There's over 300 industries. Some are home based, some are seasonal based. I mean, pet care, everything that you can think of. So let's say you're at home and you're wondering, I have a skill and I'm good with plumbing. I've done work with plumbing before. Well, there are franchises, right, where you can get connected with, meaning you have the skill. They will help you with that skill to build a structure around it, to figure out, what does that blueprint look like? What is the structure of your business? Where is it going to be located? Do you need a physical building? Maybe you don't. How you can sort of manage that process and walk you through a community in order to come to manifestation.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And I always express that as the benefit to franchising.
Absolutely.
So if we think about our topic for today, the Great Resignation, right?
Resignation.
And
Yes.
the plan for that. So
Say
I recently exited corporate. So I can really kind of talk from my experience there. Knowing that early retirement target was on my radar I was laser focused. And then, wanting to understand what those steps needed to be to make sure I was ready. It was a scary time, but I knew that I wanted to take that step and I wanted to bet on me, right? So what would be your advice for someone that's kind of really kind of in that space of corporate environment, entertaining, taking that leap, but just don't know where to start?
Do it afraid. That's what John Kennedy said. I didn't hear him say that. I'm reporting here. The Great Resignation, and thanks, Jennifer, for bringing that up. I think what is happening, I think I heard quoted something like 3.4 million people exited the workforce in December of 2021. I think what people are doing is exiting the traditional workforce and they are entering a different phase of discovery within themselves. I think that's what's happening. I think people are moving from outside work to inner purpose. This is where we were meant to be all along. And when I graduated from law school, I immediately recognized, wait a minute, something's wrong. I cannot spend my life in corporate law. It's no shade to people that do that. It's a great career for folks who are called to do that. But I know that there's a lot of people who are listening to us. They have a dream, a goal. In some cases, you've worked towards something and you look up and you may be making some money. You may be doing well professionally, but it's like, how did I get here? Money buys comfort, but it does not bring fulfillment. And that's a fact.
I love that.
And there's a way to have both. There's a way to have both. I think the first step is to recognize that if I could step back a second, Jennifer, and just say, it's a reason why you have the dream. I want to start with that, right? So before we even get into the fact that you got to do it afraid, that you got to do it scared, that you got to do it maybe a little bit unshaky or not unsure, the reason why you have to is because that thing's been inside of you since you were born. Some of you are listening to me and the dream just won't die. You went to school and, maybe for some of you, you went to school when you went to school for a major for someone else, right? Your parent told you to get that major because that would make you money, whatever. You did that. Now you're wondering, how do I live for what's on the inside of me? I want to tell you, the reason why the dream won't die is because it's been put on you, into you from something far bigger, and it's to release something for your community and for your world. So you got to understand that, because when it gets tough, and it will, it's your why is going to push you through.
Can I say something on that?
Go ahead, Tony. Go ahead.
And many people who follow me have heard this story, and I will not stop telling it, because when I got clear on my why, the how showed up. It has to be in the form of a franchise. What's really interesting about that is when I stated my why to my coach, she asked me, why don't you start your own networking group? And I said, I didn't have this, I don't have that, I don't do. everything I said I didn't have, the franchise showed up 1 week later and filled the void that I said I did not have. And so what I really work with my clients on in my coaching business is really getting clear on what is your why.
Why?
What gets you up every day that
Good.
you would do for free, but you can get paid for it. And I'm just excited to hear you say that we are on the same page.
Yeah.
Because once you know your why, then you can look at a franchise because it's there, by the way. The franchise, I didn't even know there was all these thousands of brands out there. So
Right.
thank you, Daryl, for that. The why is you got to get clear on that first, and then everything else will show up.
Yeah. Well, so are we saying that the why then is the driver?
I think that's what we're saying.
Yeah.
I mean, Cynic wrote a book, Start with Why.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's the why, because and I hear what you're saying, Tony. The how is great, and the what will come together. But if you don't have that why, and I think that's sometimes what happens. We don't. I heard somebody say, you need motivation. No, you don't need motivation. You need insight, right?
Mhm.
Because I don't believe all of us are lazy and all of us are motivated, right? We're all motivated for what we want, and we're all lazy for things we don't want to do. So when I find people that are unmotivated, it's so much an intrinsic problem that they're born with. We haven't touched that place of excitement, fulfillment. What you're saying, Tony, what am I going to do for free? I'm sure y'all get the sense I do mentorship and leadership development for free. Y'all don't have to pay me nothing to push you to your next dimension, right? That's what I do, right? I mean, there is a cost to it, but that's a whole thing, right? But
Of course.
I enjoy it. I thoroughly love seeing people move to that next level. And so, and if I could just button it here by saying, so people don't, and I know people are here and thinking this is esoteric. What you heard Tony say is, when she got clear on the why, the other thing showed up.
It showed up.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's Jennifer to that start. So what is your why? What is the reason? That would be the way that I would start. Okay.
Here's the other thing. Too many times we are operating on what we already know. See, you don't know what you don't know. I didn't know that this franchise existed.
That's good.
I put it out. I'm a faith lady, so I prayed about it. And then what I didn't even know showed up. So don't enter it with what you already know. That's why you need to meet with Jennifer, because she can tell you what you don't know about starting a franchise, finding one for you. There's brands out there you ain't never heard of. They're very successful.
That's a great point, because I think that leads me to the next point. So we know, that there are narratives out there about franchising, right?
Yes.
Whatever they may be.
Mm-hmm.
So let's unravel that a little bit. So Daryl, can you talk about, the myths around franchising?
You need a lot of money. Let's start with that one. You need $50,000.
Yeah.
To get started, $50,000 and in an escrow account. It's not true. Now, for some franchises, in some brands, in certain circumstances, in some regions, yes. But that is not the case for the large majority. I already said, there's over 300 some brands, 300 some industries, and thousands of brands. You have everything from vending machines. I have a friend who's 22 years old in Long Island. Actually, he's one of my mentees, and he owns vending machines. He is a franchisee in Long Island. All right. It's that simple. And he started with $1,000 right where he was.
I love it. And with my situation, there was a $40,000 price tag, which really in the scheme of things isn't that big of a number, right? But when the franchisor met, I didn't have $40,000 down. I didn't have it. And when he met me, he liked me. He said, "How much do you have?" I had this much of the big number.
Absolutely.
He said, girl, I'll take it. And he gave me interest-free, no credit check financing. And not just me, other people. He's done it for a lot of the franchisees.
Yes.
Because the relationship was established. Again, you don't know what you don't know. And it's still relationship. The other thing is a lot of these brands are mom and pop small brands. They're trying to grow
That's
too.
right.
So they're gonna make the concessions they need to make to get people into their network. So
And Tony, I always love that story. I love your story because I think sometimes we talk ourselves out of getting started before we get started, which is unfortunate. And what I'm seeing is, I'm seeing that in this climate, in this day and age, in my meetings with franchisors, they are thirsty to meet with us. They are thirsty to speak to us. So when we listen to those narratives that we have going on in our head, we automatically take ourselves out of the equation before we can even get started, because you don't know how that franchisor is willing to meet you where you are.
Could I go closer and even say, Jennifer, I would dare to say from the franchisors that I know, they want to build their business probably more than you want to build yours. I'm going to tell you why. You're probably just getting started if you're listening to me. If they're a franchisor, they've been doing it, right? They are super interested in finding the right people who are going to represent them, putting the right people together with the right financial folks. That's the whole other thing, right?
That's right.
People in this process that all they do is provide the capital. Okay, because what I hear Tony saying is, I'm gonna translate this into my language. Lean down to your own understanding, right? Because see, you don't know what you don't know. You don't know where all the money is. You don't know that there are people that they've been waiting. We're working with folks. This whole program's in place where all they got to get is the right person, and they'll connect you with the person to say, we'll get the capital. That's taken care of. We'll get the building if that's needed. We'll get you the staff. We just need you to be on point. But that kind of goes back to the startup. What's my why? Am I clear on? And that's kind of, if I could say this too, what is my value output, right? So if we start with because I want to go back to your question, Jennifer, about the driver. If the driver's money, it's not going to work. I'm just going to tell you that now. Then you can make a great impact and make phenomenal wealth. But it starts with the impact, right? It doesn't start with, let me look at a grid where I cannot make the most money and all that. You don't, grandma would say, put the cart before the horse, right?
That's right. That's right.
I want you to think of, where am I best positioned to make the most amount of impact? And once I come to that place, the people that you need to build impact in that place, whether it's franchising or elsewhere, I know we're going to talk about franchising, which I get one going, or else, whatever it is, that in the place.
Absolutely.
I love that. I love that.
So, Daryl, I didn't catch. Where do you live?
I'm in New York.
You live in New York now.
I'm in New York, yes. But we're pretty mobile. So we've been around, and of course, anybody that's interested in working with us, we have virtual services. But this is an exciting conversation because more and more people, I'm glad to see, that look like us are understanding, and like you said, Jennifer, they're breaking down those narratives.
That's right. That's right. So if you're out there in the audience and you have a question, please post it in the comment section. We're here with Mr. Daryl Bennett. He is dropping nuggets. And so let's shift a little bit. So if we thought about I like talking about our community. So if we thought about our community, what is the thing that they don't know that you wish that they knew about franchising?
I kind of want to hit back the point we just came off of, which is they probably want you more than you know. Right? They need you.
Yeah.
They need you, right? I think sometimes, unfortunately, we've been taught, now I don't want to be too presumptuous here. I know I've struggled with this, but we've been taught in our communities to kind of come in from a subservient look. I'm glad
Mm.
to be here. I'm glad to be at the table, and I'm just happy and grateful to be here. Yes, I'm happy and grateful to be here, but there's yes, I'm happy and grateful to be here, but there's a need that you have that I'm meeting, right? This is not about, even when I work with folks, but it's not about
That's right.
or this isn't charity work. I say this respectfully. This is, they have a need, you have a skill, you have a service, you have a relationship, you have a connection to a community. You have a connection to a community. I want to say that again. You have a connection to a community. They can't necessarily reach the people you can reach. There's someone in your city, in your neighborhood, in your community that you have influence over. You're an influencer, and they want that. So I think when you understand the power of that, you step back and you think, okay, how do I want to make my mark in the world, and how do I partner? This is the word I want to use. Partner. It gets us out of that thinking of subservience. How do I partner my skills, my gifts, my talents, my spirit, right? The energy that I bring to what you have, so that way we can do something great.
Love it. I love that. I think Jennifer's in control of the. Let me see if I can get us back there. There we go.
Okay.
I love that. They want us, right? And they want all minorities, really, because they don't know how to reach us. And so we should enter the room saying, here we are,
Mm-hmm.
We are here to help you as much as you're here to help us. And I will tell you, even in my franchise, there's very few brown people. And I brought a few to the table. And I bring everybody, but I really continue to look for other people that look like us to give them the opportunity to do something great. Now, the other thing is, I want to go back to the money just for a second, because you're going to spend the money regardless. You're going to spend the money you would invest in a franchise regardless. People think because they're starting a business, it's free. Yeah, no, you're going to spend a lot on a brand, on colors, on logos, on marketing materials, which the franchise already has for you. So, the money, don't worry about the money. Enter the conversation, and the money will come, and you'll be amazed with that. Daryl, as we go ahead.
No, I said I love that. I was just saying I love that.
Okay, very good. So, Jennifer, did you have another question for Daryl? If not,
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Tony.
So, Daryl, let's talk to the younger generation.
Okay.
Okay. I know black don't crack, but you've got a lot of experience. So I'm thinking you're still a younger generation, younger than us, but I think you've had some experience along the way. We know that the younger generation doesn't even think about going to corporate. A lot of them are like, and then when they get there, like, I didn't sign up for this.
Yes.
Exit quickly. So let's talk to that generation about the legacy they could build with franchising.
I love that. So as millennials, I think we really took the torch of just saying, you know what, if it's not about fulfillment, I don't think I can do it. But Generation Z, I think that's what it's called, Generation Z, right behind. They have. I'm just so proud of them. And one of the things that I've read, they said that their generation is the first to leave a job because of money. Excuse me, to take a job because of salary, but to leave a job because of fulfillment. That's deep. They'll take it because you're offering them the right money, right? But then they'll leave because I'm not doing anything great. I thought I was going to do something great. I know your company's name, but what am I doing here? And I think where we are, we're in a place where people want to be a part of something. Y'all know the old Little Mermaid song, I want to be where the people are, right? I'm serious. I think that's where folks are. And I want to speak to people who are listening to me or listening to us. And let's say you're in that Generation Z. Maybe you're a millennial like me, and you're still trying to wonder what's next. The first thing is this is a ripe opportunity.
It is.
Employers are baffled. Traditional employers are baffled. I mean, I'm having conversations with them all the time. And, many of them are angry because it's caused significant turnover. It's all types of costs in the labor industry. But I think it's good. I think it's good for the workforce that it's been such a disruption, that people feel empowered to say, I'm here, but I'm not being respected. Or I'm here and this isn't a good place for me. Or I'm here and I don't feel like my voice is being heard, right? So, what do you do with that? You have to balance it because you got to make a living. I do want to say that. If you leave with your feelings, you'll be broke at home and by yourself. So you can't just leave the job all the time.
That's right.
But I think harnessing the opportunity where we are now between the gig economy, between the many opportunities there are to be a 1040, 1099 employee or a consultant, franchising. There's so many different ways that right where you are, you can leverage those skills. So what I would say is this is an exciting time. I would of course, mentorship is a big point. Mm-hmm. And you said something, Tony, when you say you're going to spend the money anyway. You'll probably spend more money, time, and effort when you don't have the guidance. Mm-hmm. One of the reasons why I'm on this call, one of the reasons why I created BSG Global, and one of the reasons why I'm really passionate about what we do as a company is that I've seen this lived out in my own life. When a person has a blueprint, when a person has a guide, when someone has someone walking them through the journey of life, things are easier, they're simpler, and they're able to succeed more. And that's what we're talking about with franchising, putting people into ready-made communities that help them along the way.
That's right.
The energy is great, being young and having the energy in it. But this is what I can tell you from several years of burnout that I faced. If you do not have the right guidance, if you don't have the right mentorship, if you don't have the people that are in your ear that's been there. I'm not talking about Pookie Ray and them. They may love you, but they may not have been there. I'm really in this season, because when I left Baltimore, loved my people, but I realized for me to go somewhere else, I couldn't lean on the understanding that I had from before. So I think we underestimate, and this is where I'll end on this because I don't know what to. I think we think because so much is on YouTube and there's so much information, that I can watch a YouTube video and get it. But I'm going to tell you something. For you to get to the next level, it's not going to be information. It's going to be insight. You ain't going to get that on YouTube. It's going to take somebody that's going to walk alongside you. So I would encourage you as you're listening that we all need people that are taking us to the next level. And that's going to be the key, whether it's in franchising, in business, or just in life in general.
And Tony, Daryl, what you just shared is amazing. Now, when we think about, when I think about the younger generation, I think about tapping into the HBCUs. I'm a graduate of an HBCU. Not the only thing, I shouldn't say that, but one of the things that I had coming out of an HBCU were companies presenting us with credit cards that we could take advantage of with high interest rates, right? But we, that mentality where you thought, oh, this is a credit card, I get a credit card. But little did you know that these were interest rates that you're paying more on interest than you would even, whatever items you were buying with the credit card, right?
Wow.
So you talk about predatory lending. I think that that's a form of predatory credit, if you will.
Sure,
you're starting behind before you even start ahead.
Sure.
So those are the things that I go to when I think about our young folks. And I think that, they're in a place where they just have so much boldness
Mm.
Um, Things that, to entertain a question like, or entertain the notion that I don't want to go to corporate when I graduate. I want my own thing.
Mm-hmm.
My mom and dad were pushing corporate. I
Mm-hmm.
never thought, okay, graduating from college, I'm going to get my own thing. So it's a shift that's happening now
Absolutely.
that we are uh, um, responsible for tapping into.
Yep.
And I think that's my why. That's my driver. So, so I think this is a great conversation. I see a lot of comments in the chat from Walker Agency.
Okay.
Um, Good point. I don't like credit cards, gold nuggets. She said she was fooled. Wow. So this is a great conversation that we're having. I think, you know, it's information that needs to be shared. We're going to chip, Tony and I, we are in agreement that we're going to chip away at the narrative that's out there around franchising
Yeah.
because we understand the power. And Daryl, we're so elated to have you here, and I know you understand it as well.
Absolutely. And if I could, I wanted to expand on one of the points where you talked about, um, working in your own business, right? That's something that they have been teaching their children. I say they, I mean
Yeah.
those in power structures. And let me tell you what I learned. Growing up, I felt like I'd always been told to work for the big bank, or not the big corporation. You
Yeah.
get your name there. Now, when I went to Harvard, this was something that I started noticing. The sons and daughters of powerful families, they went and worked for their families.
Mm.
They got these massive degrees from these big name schools, and they thought it not robbery to go and work for their families.
Mm.
Whereas in our communities, right, we was you at Harvard, you at Yale. I'm now speaking about the whole Ivy League community as people would kind of talk. And it's like, well, I can't go back and work for Uncle such and so, because what would that look like on my resume?
Mm.
And so you had so many people in this push, right, to go and work for the Morgan Stanleys, the Lehman Brothers, all that. And what is amazing is I graduated from Morehouse College in 2007 and Harvard in 2000, and law school in 2010. And this is why this is important. 2008 was the year of the major recession.
Mm.
There were people's whole livelihoods, entire dreams to work for Lehman Brothers. They graduated in 2007.
Yep.
Morehouse, when I went, 40% were business majors. There were a lot of friends I had at Lehman Brothers. You know the end of that story, right?
Yes.
And I think what that did, and I had friends, they found out that they were persona non grata because their key card didn't work when they went in the next day. So what it was a whole shifting, I think, where people begin to say, wait a minute, maybe it's not bad to use everything I have and put it into the relationships of people that I already know. Whether that's working for my own business, it's in my own living room, it's in my own backyard. And that, I think, gave rise to the YouTube creator, right? That's sitting on his or her couch,
right,
creating multi-million-dollar video, right, as a multi-million-dollar career. So I'm saying all that to say, believe in the power of your own dreams. I think we, along the way, somehow we think that, everything else is better than us. The grass is always greener on the other side. There's something special about you.
Like I love that.
Every great business started right in somebody's head, right?
That's
every
right.
great company, every great brand. So
that's right.
Don't be so quick to. I heard someone say this: build your own dreams, or somebody else will hire you to build theirs, right? Don't be so quick to give up on your own dreams, realizing that even if you are working for someone, and it's good for a season, that's still some's dream.
That's right. You might as well be working on your own family legacy.
That's right.
That's the other thing. Franchising does allow you to create a business that's a legacy, can be passed on or sold. How many people create their businesses, let's keep it real, especially in our community, from scratch, and then are able to liquidate it and sell it when they're ready to get out of it? But a franchise is easier to move out because it's part of a system. And that's another show because we're out of time for this show.
That's a whole nother, because what you're talking about, you know what you're getting into, Tony? You're getting into Rich Dad, Poor Dad, the 4 quadrants, and how if you're not careful, you become a slave to your own business. That's a whole other thing. Because you're so excited to start a business, and now that thing has locked you in. And the whole point of the business, the franchise, whatever the vehicle is to allow the freedom for you to live. Yeah. It's not for you to be chained. So now you went from chained to their desk to chained to this desk. You're right. That's
Daryl, that's another show.
It's a whole nother show.
But Daryl, you have been amazing.
Amazing.
Applause. I appreciate your energy, your insights, your and your drive. And I will be reaching out to you so we can do a one-to-one so I can find out who I can connect you to so that you can further your business. And thank you so much. Jennifer, you have any parting words? Because I want us to close.
I would just offer to our audience, please connect with Daryl Bennett on LinkedIn. He is doing wonderful things. And Daryl, I'm a huge Daryl fan. So I think I can speak for Tony in saying this. We will have you back on the show for sure.
Thank you.
What's your website just so that people can find you online?
You can find me at darylbennett.com. That's DARRELLBENNETT.
I got that. I heard that.
All right. Well, Daryl Bennett, I'll be in touch. Thank you so much for your time. And we're going to give you some departing thoughts, Jennifer and I. So stay with us, Daryl, in the background. Okay, Jennifer.
Yay.
Good job on bringing our first amazing guest.
I know. I love Daryl. And that's just the caliber of guests that we will have on the Fantastic Duo sessions every Saturday at 1. So please stay connected with us. And Tony, I want to talk about just shift to some of the events that we have, you and I, we have on our plate coming up. So you want to talk a little bit about that?
So every Saturday we'll be here at noon Central, 1 p.m. So that's a weekly event. You can tune in or watch us later. If you're watching us on replay, put #replay. Any subjects you want to hear from us, please put that in the comments because we are reviewing and we will find the experts to cover those subjects. February 25th through March 1st, we are going to the International Franchise Association Conference, and we're super excited about that. So we'll be bringing you new people from that conference as well. What else do we have, Jennifer?
So we have the Power Networking Conference
in August.
That's the conference by Dr. George Fraser, and Tony and I will be speaking on embarking on a new journey through franchising.
Absolutely.
So we'll be dropping some information on how you can attend the conference as well. And that's coming up. We will have that on one of the upcoming shows.
And that we'll probably have Dr. Fraser on the show. And
yes.
It's in my hometown, Houston, Texas.
Texas. Road trip for me. I'm based in Atlanta, Georgia, but I'll be going to Houston, Texas.
Awesome. So everybody, thank you so much for the opportunity to share with you. And we will see you next Saturday, same bat channel. And we're just looking forward to having some fantastic conversations around franchising. This is Tony Harris Taylor.
And this is Jennifer Callender.
We're saying take a drastic step today. For a
fantastic tomorrow.
Yay!
Bye.
Bye.